Joining us now is former FBI Special Agent James Fitzgerald. It was his analysis of the Unabomber's manifesto that led to the Unabomber's capture. He's also host of the Cold Red podcast and author of the book, A Journey to the Center of the Mind. Great to have you with us, Jim. So investigators are saying extraordinarily little. There was a whole news conference where they said almost nothing, but except for the fact that there was no new tip and no new witness. So what do you think might have led to this breakthrough?
First of all, Elizabeth, good to be with you. It obviously wasn't the $500,000 reward that went out a few months ago, nor was it anyone who came up and saw these enhanced videos that were being played of this perpetrator walking around D.C. that night for several hours and said, "Oh, I know him." People were saying, "I know her." They thought it was a woman for a while. All these different theories. So it really comes down to the gumshoe work. Others have brought this up earlier today. These agents took a bunch of information that was in file drawers and digitized somewhere, and they said it's time to review this stuff and go over it once again and break down every single possible iota of evidence here. Let's take the bomb, the IED apart. Let's look at every single component of it, the detonator, the power source, the steel wool, the end caps, the pipes themselves. And unless this guy was a plumber on the side, which I don't think he is, he was buying these things for one reason and one reason only. And he was mission-oriented, starting, it seems, as far back as 2019, before the election was settled or people were complaining about the results, anything like that. So he was mission-oriented. What I'm not sure, though, is what was his mission? What was his motivation? I think the path he walked that night on January 5th may be reflective of the fact of he didn't really know what his motivation was.
Yeah, it's, listen, this happened on the eve of the January 6th riots. A lot of people for a long time wondered if it was connected somehow, if it was part of that whole incident. And we got no news about that. It is worth noting that whatever his anger or motive might be, it appears to be bipartisan. He planted one at the Democrats' headquarters and one at the Republican headquarters.
Yeah, I did a media interview, a year or so after the bombs were found, and I said that this guy is an outlier. He's sort of a bomber without a cause. And bombers, and I've, between Kaczynski, Eric Rudolph, and the Austin bomber of a few years ago, I like to study these people and learn a lot about them. They're a very different ilk of criminal, if you will. This guy, Cole, his devices, his IEDs never actually exploded. And while they were almost made like a textbook DIY would teach someone, the black powder, the homemade black powder, and the 12-hour, I think even that much kitchen timer really brought its effectiveness down to some degree. I know they said it's viable, and I'll work with that. I'll believe that, but they weren't really the most sophisticated that could be. And this whole guy's modus operandi that night kind of shows the same thing.
I'm curious, when you say these kinds of bombers, and obviously you have great experience because you hunted down the Unabomber, but what do you mean they're different? Different how? Because neighbors were stunned. They said this was a very quiet man who kept to himself. They all saw him walking his chihuahua around the neighborhood at all hours of the day and night, but that nobody really ever spoke to him.
Well, I mean, Kaczynski was your classic loner. This guy sounded like a loner. I don't use the term lone wolf because everyone has access to the internet nowadays. I'm not saying he was radicalized. I don't know what this guy, the DC bomber now under arrest, what his motivation was. But serial bombers are a different kind of people because even in the preparation of committing their crime, they can kill themselves. They can blow their hands off. You have powder on the thread of an end of a pipe, and you put the end cap on. That can blow up right then and there, and you have shrapnel all through your body. You're lucky if you're still alive. So these guys take risk before they even commit the crime to put their devices down. So that's a different type of personality. They're not up close and personal with guns or knives or clubs. They want to do this long distance with time and separation to go by. So he took advantage of what he thought was going to be something that happened on January 6th, and he played kind of both ends of the candle. He lit both ends of the candle and went to the RNC and the DNC to really try to throw people off of his mission that we still know his motivation was.
Yeah, I think it'll be fascinating to get more information. Jim, it's always great to talk to you and get your expertise on all this. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.